Hello everybody, hello. I am Dan, your friendly fishmonger at dansfish.com. I'm glad you could join us here on this Wednesday evening. We do this at this time every Wednesday at, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. That's 9 Eastern for those who might be confused about what real mountains look like. I can say that, I'm in the West. Anyway, we're going to start with our shipping report, and we have a nice giveaway to announce. And after that, I have some cool fish to show you. This is going to be a special one, folks. I have some amazing fish that I want to go over with you. The warehouse is bursting at the seams with some cool stuff that we just released for sale today at dansfish.com, and I'm going to show you some of the highlights. So that's what we're going to do tonight. I have a shipment of fish coming in, an import coming in tonight. It's a small import. We're doing a test. We never reveal who our sources are, but I'm going to make an exception. We are trying fish for the first time from Aquarium Glacier in Germany. So we have a small import from them, just a test box, see how it goes. And I'm really hopeful. They have an amazing reputation. If you've Googled images of fish, you've probably ended up on their website because their pictures often are way up in Google search for lots of species of fish. And I'm interested in trying them and seeing how it goes. So that's tonight. I'll probably need to shut the live stream off just a little bit early so that I can be available to unbox that shipment when it does arrive. So yeah, really excited to get some fish from Aquarium Glacier. And again, normally I'd never say that, but I think Aquarium Glacier, I'm comfortable sharing that information. Yeah, because I want people to know the quality we're going for, and I think they speak for themselves. That being said, we'll see in the unboxing tonight if the proof is in the pudding or not, but I'm pretty confident. So if not, I'll let you know. But that's what's going on tonight. Okay, let's start with the shipping report. It's a good one. This is a good shipping report. There were a few problems. There always are when you ship thousands of fish, but we did good. Last week, we were at 98.55% success for the last 12 months running total. This week, we are now at 98.56%. So we improved by 1/100th%, clawing our way up to 99% success for the last 12 months. Now, if you look at the last 6 months, we're well over 99% success rate. And that is success as reported by our customers. If our customer reports a problem, and the fish didn't arrive in good shape, then that is what we report. I mean, very occasionally, I guess we don't. If a customer reports a problem and says, yeah, it jumped out of the tank, and they're not saying there was a problem and it's on your end, then maybe we don't report that. There are instances where a fish might die and the customer is like, makes it clear it wasn't anything that we did. I guess we wouldn't report that. But what we do is if a customer reports a problem with the fish we ship them due to shipping or them not arriving in decent shape upon arrival when they were shipped, then we report that. So that's what that number is. We also use refund requests to kind of help. Those are added to that number as well. So we're doing well. We're getting up to 99%. Okay, we have a cool giveaway tonight, and the reason it's cool is because you can do whatever you want with it. Often it's like, the giveaway this week is this certain fish, and you might be like, well, that's not a fish I like, or, oh, that's not a fish that I have a setup for. That won't go with my other fish, or whatever. But this time, it's kind of choose your own adventure. A generous anonymous donor has given us a $100 gift certificate for tonight's giveaway. Thank you. You know who you are, and we really appreciate it. This donor has done this several times for us, and we're thrilled that they do it. This is a gift certificate to dansfish.com, $100, and you can get whatever you want with it. Whatever we have for sale, you can get. So hashtag thanks100, that's hashtag THANKS100. If you enter that in the chat, you'll be entered automatically to win a $100 gift certificate from a very generous anonymous donor. Okay, with that, let me show you some fish. Okay. we have Melanitania calitawa in the stock. And by the way, how cool is this? Look who's #1 on Google search for images for that fish. How high are we just in normal search? Let's see. Hey, we're #1 here too. And #3. That is awesome. I remember back in the day when we didn't even appear. So good job to everyone on the team who's helping put out the content and make sure that we are showing up on the internet. That's great. Anyway, beautiful dwarf species of rainbow fish, one of the newest species to be discovered. I think these are going to give a Melanitania praecox, the dwarf neon rainbow, a run for their money in popularity. They're about the same size, maybe even smaller actually, topping out at, I'm going to say 2.5 inches. Maybe they get a little bit bigger. If you have some that got bigger, let me know. But for now, I'm going to say about 2.5 inches top size. And they are absolutely stunning. I mean, here's a Gary Lang picture. Look at the red on the tail, the white margins on the fins, and this black bar here. Like, these are just an absolutely beautiful fish. So thanks to Gary Lang and everyone at Peter, I believe. I forget who all was on that collecting party, but thanks to the folks that went and brought this fish back. Small, stunning, and going to be very popular in the aquarium fish industry, I believe. Green leaf algae eating shrimp. We did a contest. We weighed out portions of algae to make sure it's the same amount of algae that went to each tank. We put a portion in with a mono shrimp. We put a portion in with Florida flagfish, and we put a portion in with green leaf algae eating shrimp. This was hair algae. The green leaf algae eating shrimp ate it faster than all the rest. They won the contest. So this is a very good algae eating shrimp. Check that video out if you want to see the details. But as far as we can tell, these are literally the best algae eater that we know of in the shrimp world. Scuds might be a little better, but there's problems with scuds. So more raccoon tetras. I love these guys. This is my favorite tetra, and these are such bright, pretty fish. If you have these, would you comment down below if they've colored up for you and just attest that I'm not a liar? I took these pictures, and so sometimes when people take pictures, they really doctor them and make the fish look 10 times better than they are. I didn't. I think this is a true representation of what this fish looks like when it's colored up. So if you can verify that, please do, if yours have colored up and you've seen those bright, nice colors. Okay, one of the prettiest Stiphodon gobies out there for sure. This is a mini little goby, Stiphodon rudularius. Maybe 1.5 inches for a really big one. These don't get huge. And the color on these is amazing. Bright neon blue, red striping, and these nice, neat, lacy margin patterns of black and white and lacy patterns on the fin. Top of the caudal fin here, the tail fin, red streaks outlined in blue. This is just an absolutely stunning little micro Stiphodon goby. I think they might be the prettiest one, although we have some Stiphodon anniae, and I'll show you those soon. Those might be the prettiest ones too. Okay, the L471 mini snowball pleco. Maybe. So I'm pretty confident these are indeed I'm confident these are indeed the L471 plecos, but I don't know if the common name is good. These are getting bigger than what the internet reports them to be. And you're saying, oh, well, then they're 201s. No, they're not. They're different. So I contacted my breeder and I was like, hey, ours are getting bigger. And he's like, yeah, they do that. Mine are this big. And I think he said they're around 4 inches, his biggest breeders at this point. So I was like, well, are they the true thing? And he said, yeah, I've sent them to experts in Japan and in, I think he said Germany, and they verified that they're the true thing, no problems. I'm waiting for, my breeder of these is friends with Hans Evers, and so Hans Evers is supposed to go by and visit him, and we have a query in to have Hans check the brood stock out to make sure they are indeed the right pleco. But another reason I'm confident is a customer of mine got these and they got bigger. And by the way, this customer is a Pleco guy. I don't want to say his name just in case he doesn't want to be named, but he's a Pleco guy, and you probably know him as a Pleco guy. And we were like, oh, they're getting big. What's going on? He asked some of his expert friends in Europe, I think in England was the folks he asked, and they said the same. They said, yeah, actually these get bigger than we think. So I think it really is the L471 Pleco. I just think Mini Snowball might be a misnomer, in the same way that the Mini Ranger is a misnomer. All the Mini Rangers that I've ever seen or heard of ended up not being mini. This happens sometimes in the aquarium fish industry, especially with uncommon fish, especially with fish that haven't been kept long term. This happened with Melanitania bosemani, Itinjo, and Aves Creek. Everyone thought, hey, these stay small. These don't get over like 3 inches, maybe a little bigger than 3 inches. They don't get big like your normal bosemani do. And we thought that for quite a while. And then after they had been in the hobby long enough and people have kept them for like several years, it became apparent they do get as big as your normal bosemani. They just are very slow growers. So everyone in the hobby thought at first that, oh, this is a mini fish because they're all getting about 3 inches. They're not. They were just a new fish that we didn't know well enough to know its true size. I think that happened with the Mini Ranger Pleco, and I think that might be happening with the L471 Mini Snowball Pleco. So a few folks that kind of know their stuff have confirmed my suspicions on that, and I really want Hans to chime in, but got to wait till he goes and visits my breeder. Anyway, so that's the latest on the Mini Snowballs. Now here's one that, as far as I know, really does stay under 3 inches, maybe 2.5 inches. That's the L174 Ocelot Pleco. One of the rarest plecos in the hobby because they're nearly impossible to collect. They come from a very limited range, just a very small part of a river. That river is very deep and very high flow. So if you're trying to scuba dive down there to collect them, which is the only way to get deep enough, they're down like 30 feet to collect them, it's very dangerous because the current is super strong. So it almost never happens that someone goes and gets them. So very rare one that I would like to see propagated in the hobby and distributed in the United States. I love golden gobies. This is Mugilla gobius rexi. This has been an absolute joy. These guys are small. I'd say 1.5 inches. They might get a tiny bit bigger than that. And bright gold with, the pictures aren't going to quite do them justice. Oh, that's such a small picture. Can you see it here at all? With kind of this black margins here. They get black here and they'll get black on the anal fin. None of the pictures are really showing it. That's kind of as close as we're getting to the real thing, but that's not really showing the true black that they get either. But it kind of gives you an idea of where it will be. That's showing some of the black. Reminds me kind of like of a friccata rainbow fish in a way. Anyway, small, peaceful, beautiful. Are going to want to eat frozen foods and live foods. You can probably transition them to dry foods, but I wouldn't start with that. I would definitely have frozen and live available to start. Now here's Stiphodon anniae, another dwarf Stiphodon, you know, little over an inch, maybe 1.5 inches for a real big one. And like really does compete with the Rudolarius, in my opinion, is perhaps the prettiest Stiphodon out there. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's a good shot. That gets their mouth and their chin and all that really nicely. Stunning little fish. And hey, look at that. We're the second picture on Google search. That's awesome. Just once again, because I'm curious, let's see how we're doing just in general search. Hey, we're number 2. That is not bad. We'll take it. It was a time we didn't even show up. So that's awesome. If you like bumblebee gobies, but don't like messing about with salt water and brackish water, these are for you. This is Xanthomelis. Is the species name. This is the true freshwater bumblebee goby. We have a nice batch of them. They should do great. Live and frozen foods, though. They love frozen bloodworms. They love baby brine shrimp, that kind of thing. We have got them to eat dry foods in the past, but just be aware it's not their default state. It's going to take some work to get them there. All right, L14 plecos. These are true beauties. Now, one thing to be aware of on these is these grow to, what, 14 inches? So they're a good size pleco. But they aren't like the Titanic plecos and stuff that get absolutely massive. So I think they're still manageable for a lot of hobbyists. Absolutely stunning fish. Kind of difficult to find and kind of expensive, but not as expensive as a super white or anything like that. So they're manageable. They're still manageable, I think, for most hobbyists, price-wise and tank size-wise, although they are bigger than if you keep nano tanks and stuff. Because again, a 14-inch kind of big-bodied pleco needs a decent-sized tank. Okay. Oh, I have shell dweller on there. I got to take that off because then we see Tanganyikan fish. This is one that I'm so happy to have in again. We've been able to bring it in once before. These are Mugilogobius adii. They are a shell dweller. Like you have cichlids in Lake Tanganyika, Multifasciatus and Similis and all those that live and breed in shells. These are the same. So since we don't have cichlids in Sulawesi, these little gobies have adapted to fit that niche. And I think they're super cool. They are out and about, they're personable, and they are bold patterns. Again, frozen in live foods to start, you know, frozen bloodworms, frozen brine shrimp, live baby brine shrimp, that kind of thing. I bet you could get them to dry food. I don't remember if we did last time we had them. They sold really fast, so we probably did not have them long enough to transition them. But this is a cool one. Behavior-wise, pattern-wise, all these different lakes in Sulawesi, there's all these lakes spread around, and they aren't connected. So each lake has its own really unique fish fauna. It's unique rice fish, gobies, Telmatharina, half-beaks, and some other things, along with really unique shrimp. That's why we get that diversity of amazing Caridina shrimp, like the Sulawesi cardinal shrimps, the starry night shrimps, the mini blue bee shrimps, that kind of thing. Because there's all these lakes and they've all kind of evolved into their own separate beautiful things. Same with snails, the rabbit snails, all that vast diversity of snails from that area is just amazing. So I think this is one of the coolest places in the world, Sulawesi, and the fish that come from there. Imperial lapis tetras. Our picture is not the best. It's starting to show you some of the red, and it shows you a little bit of the blue, but our picture doesn't do it justice. This right here, this is a much better picture. They're glowing, beautiful blue with red on them. The Bonita tetra. Now this is one where I think we do have the best picture on the internet. I mean, this one's good too. World Fish Wiki, that's a decent picture. That's okay. But the red on them is amazing. They remind me of a silver-tip tetra, but with bright red on the tails. The males get that. I think they're so unique. And this is a fish that I've wanted to get back in for a long time. Finally was able to get some back in. And these are aquarium bred and raised, all that. So, in fact, all the fish I'm showing you right now are aquarium bred and raised fish. The plecos, the tetras, all. Oh, not some of those gobies. I lie. Not some of the gobies. I take all that back. But the tetras are, the plecos are, the rainbow fish are. This is Pseudomulgir. But can you blame me? I mean, what a genus to pronounce. Pseudomulgil gertrudae, but these aren't your average gertrudae. These are the ones from RU4 that get these bright yellow to orangish tips on all of their fins. Like, check that out. They get this hook right here. I wish I could get a better picture. But they are absolutely spectacular. Your average gertrudae is a decent looking fish. Well, let's just go with gertrudae and show you the difference. It's a pretty fish, but it doesn't have those highlights. Like, it doesn't have the yellow or in the orange on the tips. This one does here, but it's mostly just a spotted fish. Still really pretty. Like, I'm not trying to knock it by any means, but I would say this here is what your average kind of aquarium strain gertrudae looks like. So The RO4s are amazing just because they look like Gertrude that are dressed up for their wedding. There they are. And we're back with those bright tips. Chilotharina blairii. As Bentley Pasco says, the party animals. I saw Bentley in here a little earlier because they're always coloring up in all different forms of dress. These are an absolutely stunning rainbow fish. There's a picture I got of an adult male displaying, a year ago, a couple years ago now. Really gorgeous coloration. Look at that blaze going up. Anyway, I think that they're fantastic. Of the Chilotharina, are they my favorite? They might be. They're right up there. Bolivian orange lemon tetras. Okay. Does anyone know if this has received a scientific description yet? Last I checked, these had not yet been described. We're all familiar with this fish. This is the lemon tetra, a perennial favorite. This is one that we've liked forever because of its bright eye, its yellow highlights. Look at that nice black margin on white. These are a very handsome fish. Then they discovered a new population in Bolivia that doesn't have a picture that does it justice. That's close. You're starting to see the extent of the orange here on the fish and the red in the fins, but it's not, and you're starting to see a little bit of the black down there. I don't think there's a picture on the internet that does these justice. They're a very pretty population of the lemon tetra, unless by now they've got their own scientific description. I'm not sure. Aves Creek, maybe the prettiest of all the Boesemani. Of course, I say that every location of Boesemani is gorgeous. The Itinju are gorgeous. Even the normal aquarium strains with the light yellow on blue are gorgeous. But there's something about the darkness that comes in on the front of the fish and that bright orange that comes in on the back of the fish of this location that I just love. Now, it takes them a while. They have to grow up before they look like this. But when they are grown up and they display and they fire up, this really does happen. I think they're perfect for Halloween. Look at that. That's a Halloween fish, black and orange. Okay. Is there a picture on the internet that does Glossolepis multisquamata, the red dragon justice? I don't think I found it, but there's a couple that come close. So, this one shows kind of the red stripe pattern. This one shows it as well, and you're starting to see the big fin extensions that make this fish famous. This one shows, this is still young. These are going to get even bigger and more comb-y. The anal fin and the dorsal fin gets it too. Red fish with red stripes, but like that kind of shows it. But I don't know of a picture that really does them justice. This shows a lot of the combing that the anal fin's going to get, and I can see a little bit of the dorsal. Anyway, beautiful fish, gets massive. Doesn't look like much until it hits 3 to 4 inches. It's going to get, what, 6 to 7, something like that. So once they get 3 to 4, you're going to be... So this is what they look like right now in my tanks. Silverfish with some barring. Give them a few months, though, and they'll grow up and color in, and then they're stunning. Absolutely stunning. Okay, Melanotania marisi. This is another fish that I think is going to take the world by storm. Very closely related, it seems, to the Kalitawa. Same body shape, a lot of the same kind of patterning, but from a different location, and to me, obviously, a different species. Well, yeah, it's been named a different species. This is what they look like in my aquariums. Keep in mind, I have light sand on the bottom of my tanks and really bright lighting. So you get this kind of orange color around them with orange stripes down the body. But I've seen them in other people's tanks, and they look, this doesn't even do them justice though. This black gets really black, this white gets really white, and this orange gets really orange, and that contrast is beautiful. Along with this black patterning comes in strong, and they have the stripes on them too. The best picture I think I've found of these fish is this one. This was taken in Amazonas magazine when Gary and Co. Johannes Graf and the rest documented their trek to go collect this fish. This shows kind of the orange color and the red stripes, but the position of the fish, you know, doesn't show you everything. But I think Marisai is stunning. In light colored tanks, I think this is stunning. But the best I saw were the ones that Aquarium Life had. Stephanie out in California, I visited her fish shed while I was there giving a talk, and she keeps them in tanks that are lit, but they're dimly lit. And in that dim light, those colors really develop and the contrasts really develop. And I believe she had dark colored gravel as well. So, and I think if I remember right, the back and two sides of the tank were even painted black. So even though the light was dim though, they were still stunning. The color was strong enough. You could easily see it in the dim light. So shout out to Stephanie, who has amazing fish like this. Tenopoma and Sorgii released a video of these recently. The prettiest, I think, of the anabantoids out of Africa. So you have anabantoids in Asia, bettas, gouramis, some others, and you have them in Africa. Tenopomas, microtenopomas, climbing perch, and a few others. So of all the ones in Africa, I think these are the prettiest, and I think they give a lot of the Asian species a run for their money. If you want to know more about this fish, I have a whole video on it that you can see that was released a few days ago. But ours are doing great. They're not shy at all, and they're eating everything. They prefer frozen and live foods, but they are eating flakes and small pellets. Sorry, guys, I am leaving my phone on because Johnny's on the road with that import, coming back from the airport with that import, and if he needs to get a hold of me, I want to be available. We do have some Pseudomugil mellis available. You're going to have to search for them. They're not going to pop to the top because we don't have a picture of them. They're small, guys. These are small. They're juveniles. They're so small that I don't think I can sex them. There are a couple that have a little bit of black showing on the fins, but just a couple and just barely starting to show. So I would love to be able to sell these as pairs or breeding groups or whatever, but they're not big enough. The last batch we got was bigger. We could sex those. Not these. So I know they're expensive. I'm sorry. They cost me a lot and they're hard for me to get, but they're healthy and they're doing awesome. They're just small enough they're unsexed. These are not listed for sale yet. I want to give them a little more time, but we do have Pseudomugil cyanodorsalis coming up. The reason I want to give them more time is we've transitioned these from brackish water to fresh water. And I want to give them a good amount of time in that fresh water before I sell them to make sure that they really are okay. In nature, they come from both brackish water and fresh water, maybe even salt water, if I remember right. So they can take a wide variety of parameters, but I just want to make sure they're okay in our fresh water before we list them. Our water here is very hard, has a lot of minerals and stuff in it. So even without salt, so far they seem to be transitioning pretty well. If you have really soft water, I don't know how they'll do. They might be great, I don't know. But so far, in our mineral-rich, yet fresh water in our tanks, they're doing well. We also have some mountain grunters. I know Chonsworth has been waiting for these for a long time. We want to give these another week or so. They're doing well, but they came in a lot bigger than we expected. Some of these are 6 to 7 inches, which is pretty much full-grown adult for this fish. And larger fish just are trickier to ship, and so we want to make sure that they're fully recovered before we send them out. And if you watch our unboxing video from a couple weeks ago, I don't remember when we released it, maybe a week ago or so, you'll see that when these came in, some of them had some cloudy water. So we just want to make sure that they're fully recovered and are going to do well for you before we release them for sale. So a couple little things, little teasers if you would, that are not ready yet, but that are coming up. But the rest of these are available right now at dansfish.com. If you have been waiting for any of these, they're around. And I know some of you have been waiting a long time. So, yeah. Mitchell Broom says, I've seen some people keep Pseudomugil cyanodorsalis in full salt with corals. For a second, I thought you said Corey, so I was like, what? With corals, and they are amazing. Oh yeah, I bet. I bet. So anyway, that's a little bit about what's going on here. We have some cool fish available. We have some neat fish from a neat supplier arriving this evening. I'm very excited. I probably should have waited till I unboxed them before I mentioned them. Like, what if they came in and they're all in horrible shape? But I'm pretty confident in Aquarium Glacier's ability to send fish. So exciting day for us. Okay, with that, we're going to take a transition here and get to your questions and comments. Before I do that, though, I want to thank our moderators for being here and for moderating. I think we're going to do something else as well. There are 299 folks here. I think we're going to do the giveaway now. And the reason is we typically do the giveaway like later in the stream. But every now and then I like rewarding people who are early birds, because I do see in the analytics that last 15 minutes or so of the stream, people know we do giveaways and we're probably going to give it away at that point. And so there's like this swell in participation. It's like people are like, oh, the giveaway is about to start. I'll chime in for that. I want to reward the people that aren't chiming in just for the giveaway. So if you're here right now, that's probably you. So let's go ahead and do this giveaway. This is for a $100 gift certificate to dansfish.com, donated by a super generous anonymous donor. There are 264 eligible folks entered to win, and the winner is Dave Jones, who is a member of the channel. Thanks, Dave, for being a member of the Dan's Fish YouTube channel, the Fishmonger crew. We very much appreciate it. Dave, you have 2 minutes to chime in and let us know that you're here. And I'm going to set my timer so I don't forget to do that. All right, timer's going. You have 2 minutes to chime in. Let us know that you're here. If you don't chime in 2 minutes, then you forfeit your winnings and we will draw somebody else. Hey, the Farrells are here. Farrells, I hope you're doing really well. You might have inspired me to try a Betamacrostoma breeding project. It's just one of those fish that for my whole life I've loved and been scared to death of. Just because back in the 90s when I was introduced to it, it was thought to be like the most delicate thing, and they were like, I don't remember how much they were at that point, a ton of money. And so it was always a fish I was like, man, I want that, but I'm poor and I can't afford it, and I don't know if it'll live, because apparently they're very delicate. But they've been around long enough, and you guys bred them and stuff, and so yeah, I saw your babies and it got me real excited. So I'm not sure if we'll pull the trigger or not, but Macrostoma has been one that I've been wanting for a long time, so it might be time. Okay, Dave Jones has chimed in well before the 2-minute mark, so let me stop my timer. Dave, congratulations, thanks for playing. And if you would in order to finalize your winnings, please send us an email and to hello, sorry, I'm thinking of 3 things at once. Please send us an email, hello@dansfish.com. That's HELLO@dansfish.com. Send it there and we'll get your gift certificate sent over to you. And congrats, by the way. That's pretty awesome. Okay, going down the chat, looking for bright orange boxes that appear when people type @dansfish or dansfish or #dansfish. Those are the comments that I respond to. So if you're trying to get my attention, please put @dansfish or something like that in the chat. A box will appear. You select my name from the box and it turns it bright orange for me. The first one I see is survival of the fishiest. Will the freshwater gobies get along in a community tank? Yes, if they're with peaceful fish that are not boisterous and are of an appropriate size. So, oh, by the way, which freshwater gobies are we talking about? I'm assuming we're talking about the Brachygobius xanthomelis here, the freshwater bumblebee goby. That's the one that popped in my head. So, yes, we've kept them with other fish, but keep in mind they're not the fastest feeders, so other fish will outcompete them for food, and they don't want fish that are going to be in their face all the time. You know how you have like guppies that are really friendly and want to go say hi to everyone and are in their face saying, hello, 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 like all day long? That's going to really bother. Oh, it is freshwater bumblebees, says survival of the fishiest. Good, we're on the same wavelength mind-wise. We're commuting communicating telepathically. Look at us go. So you don't want them with boisterous tank mates or with really fast feeders. But I think that they would be fine. Let's see, if I was going to put them in a tank, I would think about maybe pygmy hatchet fish with them. I would think about Corydorus hesperosus, Hastatus, or Pygmaeus. Oh, you know, it'd be awesome with them. I don't have any right now, but the mini red hummingbird tetra, I think that would get along famously with them. Because those aren't rapid swimmers. They're kind of like a hovering type tetra that hangs out. I think something like, I was going to say chili rasbors, but if your chili rasbors come in a little small, the bumblebee gobies, even though they're small, they have a big mouth, and they might be able to get one if you get smallish chili rasbors. In fact, I'm wondering if a full-grown chili rasbor might even be at risk. But fish like that is what I'm thinking. Something in that vein. Cinnabones. Oh, that got me hungry. I'm setting up a 20-liter. Oh, geez, I'm so bad. What is 20 liters to gallons? 20 liters to gallons. 5.5 gallon, roughly. 5-gallon tank. Okay. I'm setting up a 5-gallon tank. I'm thinking of doing cherry barbs and Paleotis cories and maybe Japanese trapdoor snails. Would you also add white clouds? Well, I have no experience with Japanese trapdoor snails, but I think they get fairly large and are going to produce a lot of waste. So that might be hard to manage in a 5-gallon tank. Cherry barbs, I think, are doable in a 5-gallon tank. If you had, like, you know, just a few in there, maybe a male with, you know, 3 or 4 females, that would make him very happy. Paleotis cories, though, I don't think would do well in that size tank. Unless I have my conversion wrong, but Google told me that's about 5 gallons. Cories need to be in big groups, and Paleotis cories are going to get over 2 inches when they're full grown. So I can't imagine a decent sized group of Paleotis cories being happy in a 5-gallon tank. But honestly, I think white clouds would be amazing. A group of white clouds in there by themselves would be enough for that tank, in my opinion. But that's my thoughts on it, Cinnabuns. I'm not trying to tell you how you should stock your tank. That's totally up to you. But since you asked, that's what I see there. I'm not here. I'm just a figment of your imagination. Bentley isn't real. We all knew it. It's too good to be true, that man. Guppy Gal, would least killies be able to eat seed shrimp, or would the little seed shrimp be too tough for them? I don't know. I've never tried ostracods, aka seed shrimp, with least killies, which aren't actually killifish. Point of interest, they're Heteroandria formosa, they're a little live bearer. So I've never tried them together. Seed shrimp are pretty tough little buggers, but they might be able to get them down. I really don't know, Guppy Gal. Does anyone here know? Has anyone cleared out their seed shrimp colony with least killies? Tracy S. Do gobies need an area in the tank to get out of water? Bumblebee gobies okay with nanofish, clown killies, pygmy cories, or should they be in a dedicated tank to goby only? Well, I think I already answered the part about the freshwater bumblebee gobies. Folks, if you have freshwater bumblebee gobies in a community aquarium and you've done that successfully for quite a while, would you chime in and let us know what you're keeping them with? That might give folks some ideas. And some gobies need an area to get out of water, like mud skippers. Mud skippers are a kind of goby. But the ones I sell don't need to be able to get out of water. Okay, scrolling here. Nathan says, are Buenos Aires and Columbia tetras better in a longer tank? I have them in a 3-foot 50-gallon, but I have a 4-foot 60-gallon I'll be setting up soon. If longer is better with them, thanks. Nathan, I think longer is better for almost any fish, especially fish that like to actively swim. That being said, Buenos Aires tetras and Colombian tetras, I mean, I think you're fine in a 3-foot 50-gallon with both those species for sure. But would it be better in a longer tank? Yeah, I think it would, but I don't think it's necessary. Bentley, what is your price on Herbert axelrodi? What is your price on Melanotania Herbert axelrodi? Why is it so good? Oh, okay, good question. So the reason is Milano oh wait, I have to go to Dan's Fish. Let's start on the right website. Yellow, is that what we're calling them? Yeah, here they are. The Herbert Axelrodi, the reason that they are inexpensive is we bought them from a hobbyist breeder, and when we got them, they were tiny, like really small, really no color or anything yet. So because of that, we offered them at a better price than you would pay for one that's larger and more colored up. Okay, let's see here. Merced Gonzalez. Where the golden Necapisto McMasteri golds? Are you asking if we have the gold red-shouldered McMasteri in stock at this time? We don't. I don't think. Oh wait, maybe we do. Maybe we do actually. McMasteri. No, we're out at the moment. I think, oh, I wish Johnny was in chat, but he's on the road driving back from the airport with some very exciting fish. I think we might have another batch that we can release for sale soon. I don't remember, Merced. I'm sorry, I don't remember. But if I don't have any that I can release soon, then it's probably going to be another 6 weeks or so before I have any available. But that is one we try to keep in stock. Yeah, that tank's empty. We used to have them right over there, but I think we might have another tank of them over there that might be coming up soon. Ariel C., thank you for becoming a member of the Fishmonger crew. We appreciate your membership to the Dan's Fish YouTube channel. Thanks so much. Welcome aboard. The good ship Lollipop. Okay. Oh, chat just jumps. Jeez. Oh, wow. There's a lot in there. Hang on. I'm scrolling up. Scrolling. Keep it all scrolling. There we go. Nathan, you're running an amazing business. We're working hard to do that. And I'm really happy with where we're at. And we totally understand when you have to take a minute to attend to other issues. Thanks for doing what you're doing. Hey, yeah, absolutely. I love doing what I'm doing, and I love doing it the way I'm doing it. It's very rewarding. It's the only way I want to do it. Tracy, yes, any suggestions to go with Ember Tetras? I have 3 that I had to pull out of a community tank because they were so aggressive with everyone. So now I have a 20-gallon tall tank with 3 fish. Wow, they were aggressive, huh? Ember Tetras. I honestly, Tracy, my best suggestion would be more Ember Tetras. I wonder if the reason they were aggressive or there was aggression, I can't say either one of those correctly, is because there were so few of them. That's a fish that I think does well in large groups. So that's my best suggestion. I would get more of those. And if you got a good sized school, 12, 24, something like that, then I wonder if the aggression would go away. Has anyone else experienced Ember Tetras being aggressive? And if so, were they in large numbers? I guess, you know what? I guess I could see them like nipping at the tail of a guppy that had a really long, flowing, delicious tail or something like that, or half moon betta, you know, full size tail. I guess I could see them being tail nippers to really long, flowing fins. But besides that, I've literally never, that I can remember, ever seen Ember Tetras be aggressive. So that's a new one to me. Johnsworth, grunters! Mine are like water puppies now. Oh yeah, they're amazing pets. They're so personable, and I'm glad you like them. I feel the same way. How big are yours at this time? The ones we got in are pretty big. The biggest one is 6, maybe pushing 7 inches. And then there's a couple in there that are a little smaller than that as well. Passing a wind. Excuse you. What do you call a fancy fish sophisticated? Yep. Yep. That's like the dad fish joke of the day. Robert P. saying hello. Well, hello, Robert. I hope you got my email. If this is the Robert P. I think it is, we received the Limias in great shape this morning. Thanks for sending them. B. $80 for Pseudomugo melis? Yes, I wish they were cheaper. In fact, I hope that people out there start spawning them and spreading them around for cheaper. This is only the second time I've been able to bring them in, and they're difficult to bring in, and that's reflected in the price. So yeah, they're expensive. Now, if you know of a place people can get them for cheaper, I wouldn't mind if you put it down in the chat. Like, that's a fish I want to get out. I want to get people breeding it. So yeah, if someone has them right now for less, shout them out. I'm okay with that. Green tea. Have you ever sold or plan to sell least killifish? They look like very interesting nanofish. They are. It's not one that I have ever actually really thought about bringing in. So Heteroandria formosa, they're aggressive little buggers. That's one reason I haven't brought them in. I don't want to sell them and then have someone put them in their tank and have them tear up all their fish, which I think they will do in my experience. So they're a cool little fish, but they're not one that I'm like actively seeking. The other thing is they're available in lots of places, so it's not one that sings to me on the business front. I think they're cool, but I think you kind of almost have to have them in their own tank and have your own colony of them and leave them as a species only tank. And that kind of shuts out a lot of opportunity to sell them, so I'm not sure they would be a good fish for a business to carry. Mitchell, Betta patodi are the poor man's macrostoma, almost as colorful, but way more easy to breed. The males don't eat the eggs nearly as often as macrostoma. Yeah, I almost ordered a group of Betta patodi recently, actually. The reason I didn't is I brought them in before, and I loved them, but they took forever to sell. So I'm not sure how the market will respond. And I currently have a couple awesome bettas. Let's show you folks these. So we have these Betta Simorum. They're the coolest things ever. They're beautiful. They interact with me. I put my hand in the tank. They come up and nibble on me. They're personable. And honestly, no one's buying them. We've only sold a few. Absolutely stunning, beautiful fish. And then we have Betta Falxon as well, which isn't the most colorful, but is a really neat looking, or a really neat wild type Betta. And so wild type bettas for me, in my experience, oh, and I'm not showing any of those. Hopefully I showed those. If not, that's Betta Simorum, which I think is just stunning. Here's Falx down there. There are some that are prettier than that. That's not the best picture, but they are not, Falx is not like a stunningly beautiful fish. It's just an interesting fish. So my track record with most wild type bettas, trying to sell them as a business, has been that I love them, and so I bring them in, and then they sit for a long time. Not always, but even Betta Forshii, I have a good source for those. I brought them in twice, and they took forever to sell. I mean, Betta Forshii is about the prettiest little wild type betta that you could ever ask for, I think. But yeah, there's a lot of fish I like as a hobbyist, I'm like, yes, I want that. But then I have to remember that I'm running a business, and they don't always make good business sense. But I agree. I think Betta patodi is awesome. Trebor's Tactics. Would you ever update your website so we can add fish that are in stock to our wish list? Oh, as well as out of stock. I often want to add fish I want, but can't buy right then to get updates. I had never thought of doing that. Oh, let me see. I don't know if that's something we would do or not. Add fish in stock to wish list. That's literally the first time anyone's asked about that, and the first time I've ever heard of it. So I don't have to think on that one. Skipper Scotty's real little fish. Oh, there's a frowny face there. I wonder why. Wonder what that was in response to. Joshua Johnson is... Oh! Is it because I forgot to mention those? Oh. Hang on. Yeah. Okay. I think I know what that's about. And so I got three. I got Limia Perugiae, full green guppies, Xiphophorus. Okay. Just one moment. Okay. So what I think this is about is there are three species that I got from Scotty. If you remember, I did a fish room tour with Scotty, a month ago now or something like that. And he had some amazing Xiphophorus Montezuma, Limia Perugiae, and full green guppies. And we brought some in from Scotty. He sold some to us, and now we have some for sale. So we have Limia Perugiae on sale that were sourced from Scotty. We have some from a few other breeders as well. We have full green guppies in stock that are from, well, there's Scotty's 4th generation, so he's been working the line pretty nicely. And then we have Xiphophorus Montezuma. Now, I don't know if we listed the full green guppies or Montezumas yet, but we meant to. The problem is Johnny had to take off to the airport up in Billings to grab some fish for us. So list green guppies and Montes. Okay, I'll make a note to make sure we do that. But we'll be having Montes available really soon, if we don't already. Well, Xiphophorus. Let's see here. I don't have a picture yet, so they would definitely be at the back. Okay. And then full green guppies. That would take a while to search out green. So we'll have to get to that. That might be what the frowny face is about. That could be it. Okay. Joshua Johnson, is there any way to tell if the mystery SAEs are actually true SAEs? Any telltale signs or identifying features? They're the same genus, and I think they'll eat algae just as well. In fact, they're eating algae just as well as your true SAEs. But I actually think they're a different species. We don't know exactly which one, but the patterning on them is just a little different. But I mean, I literally could sell those as true SAEs, and I doubt anyone would know the difference. But we noticed the difference, so we didn't feel right doing that. I suppose it could also be, though, just a different location of SAEs. That's possible. But when we're literally titling a fish true Siamese algae eater, I don't feel comfortable selling anything else as that looks even slightly different. I know what a true Siamese algae eater looks like. And if I see something that's like, oh, that's a little off, I don't want to, like, I'm making a hard statement when I list something as a true Siamese algae eater. And I don't want that to be wrong ever. Okay, Guppy Gal, what Cory would you recommend at the 80 to 85 Fahrenheit temperature range that German blue rams need? I don't know enough about that. Most of the Corys I know like cooler water if they like anything outside of normal temperature keeping ranges. I don't know of one that likes it hotter. I'm sure there's some out there. I'm sure there's some really cool Corys from the Rio Xingu or something like that where it's pretty warm, or the Pantanal where it gets pretty hot. So maybe Corydorus pantanalensis, although check first. But I would look at Corys from the Pantanal because when it floods, that water gets really warm. Maybe the Rio Xingu, where maybe Corydorus xinguensis. But I've never looked into that. I've never been like, hey, what Cory can I keep really hot? So I can't help you there. But, you know, Mitchell Broom's here, and he knows a thing or two about Corys, and some other folks in the chat do as well. So maybe they could chime in. Outside in aquatics, I have longfin white clouds, and have had them in a breeder basket set up for about a month. No babies. Definitely have a pair. I've seen the spawn, and I've seen eggs. Any suggestions? Is there something in the aquarium that can be sucking the babies up? Do you have a filter in there that could be sucking them up, or an overflow they could be going out of? Something like that would be my thought. I'm imagining a breeder basket where the eggs they spawn and then the eggs fall out of the basket into the tank. That's what I'm imagining. So if that's the case, and the eggs fall out, they should be hatching, and then the babies should be up and around. And since the adults are in a basket, they should be able to, you should have a few surviving at least. So since that's not happening, I'm wondering if something is slurping them away, some kind of equipment. Oh, Nabokov says 20L equals 20 long. I thought it meant 20 liter. Sorry. Bardstell Goldens. Are your lemon blue eye bristlenose old enough to determine gender? I'm looking for a female. Last 3 all males. I'm not comfortable sexing them. I'm not the best at sexing plecos, especially early on. Incog Polywog, is it possible to make special requests for future imports? I've been dying to find some of the more rarely imported Mamyridae, especially Campylomamyrus and Oxymamyrus. So, yeah, kind of. Like, you could email us at hello@dancefish.com and be like, hey, I really want these. But the truth is, when we import fish, we have to bring them in such large numbers that if I have to bring in, I don't know, 100 to 200 of a species, you're probably going to want, I don't know, 6, it would be my guess, something like that, like not 100 to 200. And then I'm left with, I don't know, 94 fish that a very small amount of people are into, and it's really hard for me to move them. So that's the problem with the requests, special requests for imports. The other thing is, Mamyrids, they're not a group that I tend to bring in very often. I love them. I grew up with them. My fish godfather had a Bollinger that I loved, along with some Peterside that were just big, in a big like 360-gallon aquarium. They lived there for years and years and years and years, and they were fascinating. I thought they were amazing fish. So I love them, but finding a supplier who treats them well enough that they get to me in good shape is a huge challenge. So I like West Africa is rough. It is just rough getting stuff out of there. So probably not something I would be doing anytime soon. Michael Walsh, any tips or tricks to get a gold nugget pleco to be less shy? Most expensive fish in our tank and we never see it. I don't have any tips about that. Plecos are nocturnal and they are cave dwellers. So what they're going to do is find a space to go hide during the day and then they'll be out at night. So I hear you, but that's their nature. It's kind of hard to go against nature. The most outgoing, I think of kind of the fancy type plecos that I've seen recently are like the flash plecos. Those Panoculus, they're out during the day. I think it's the 204. They're out during the day chewing on wood, hanging out, looking for food. Like, they don't care. But most plecos during the day, they're gonna be sleeping. The way most pleco keepers do it is they get those kind of pleco hides or those structures with all the little separate caves in them. And the plecos go in and a little bit of their tail hangs out, so you can kind of see in and kind of see them. But barring that, no, I don't know of a way to get a fish that is literally going to hide and sleep during the day to not do that when it's its nature. Now, I suppose there's a couple little things, like ditherfish will make some plecos come out a little more and things like that. But in general, that's just who they are. Fish Hunter, I have BB gobies. Bumblebee? With fireline, answering the question of what you can keep bumblebee gobies with. With fireline danios, guppies, phoenix rasbors, and shrimp. They are an amazing little species, fun to keep. All right, thanks for letting us know, Fish Hunter. Would those freshwater bumblebee gobies fin nip apistos? I don't think so. I don't find them to be big fin nippers. I mean, I haven't tried it, so don't have a plan B, but no, I don't think they would nip a pistos. Okay, do you keep your L47s in the 90s like the breeders do? No, I keep every fish I have in this warehouse at 79 degrees. That includes rams. I know German blue rams are supposed to be at 85, but ours do great at 79 degrees. That includes discus. That includes all our fish, including our fancy plecos. Now, I know a lot of people their hair just lit on fire. I get that. I don't know if that's right for everyone. We keep fish a lot differently than most people. We have a very different system, a water system that we keep our fish in that is not something that your average hobbyist is going to have. So I don't know if we're successful because of that, or if a lot of these fish have a wider temperature range than we think. I mean, if you think about the difference of temperature range in the wet season versus the dry season, there's high variation there. If you think about the difference a fish experiences when it's deep in the water versus when it swims up into shallower water, there's a big variation there. So for me, 79 degrees has been good for everything we keep. I think this is a true statement. I don't think we've ever failed with a fish here in the fish warehouse with a fish that needs to be kept in the mid 80s or really hot that we've tried to keep. I don't think so. Our zebra plecos, our super whites, like all that stuff, we're keeping at 79 degrees long term, mind you, and they're growing, they're fat and sassy. Some stuff's breeding, like they're doing fine. Fireflight SC1. Hang on, that might have been Johnny telling me that he's half an hour out, so let me check. Nope. Okay. Where are we? How do you tell the difference between Corridors elegans and Corridors napoensis? I used to know this. I looked this up and researched this once. It's not coming to me right now. I'm sorry, Fireflight. I don't remember. Joel, what can you tell me about the red Nothabranchius corthaze you have, and what fish would be good with them? Thanks. They're amazing. They are eating really well. They make a great breeding project. And I personally wouldn't keep them with any other fish. The killie keeper in me tends to keep killies as species-only tanks. Now, could they go with other fish? Sure, there's plenty of other fish they could go with, but I've never done it. I've always kept nothos. Well, that's not true. Every now and then I'd have a spawn and I'd get like a ton of extra males, and so I'd put them in a community tank. I had a 90-gallon once. Let me see if I can remember what was in there that I put extra males in. There was some kind of wild-type betta. I think it was betta chinoides. I think there were hatchet fish in that tank. And that's all I remember. This was a 90-gallon tank, had a whole bunch of plants in it. One section was just choked with Java moss, a lot of habitat for different kinds of fish. So it can be done, but I don't have a lot of experience keeping nothos in community aquariums. What's the rarest fish you keep right now? It's probably the mountain grunter. I literally don't know of anyone else in the United States that's selling them, at the moment at least. So that's my guess. I mean, Pseudomugil mellis is pretty darn rare in the United States. It's been a dickens for me to find. What else? There's a few others, but mountain grunters, I think, is the one. So your chat jumped, so let me scroll here. Wow. Chat really jumped. What's the coldest weather you would ship in? Asked Steel97. We ship in every weather. The only reason we wouldn't ship is if we thought there would be a delay, like if So our carrier is UPS, and our packages go from Sheridan. They get on a plane, they go to Billings. They get on a plane, they go to Louisville, Kentucky, and from there they go out to all of you folks. So if any of those hub airports are having weather issues that might ground their flights, then we would probably not ship. Well, we wouldn't ship. So like if there was major flooding in Kentucky around Louisville or something like that. So that's what worries us, is delays. But we ship in really, really cold weather. We just have well-insulated boxes. We know what to do with heat packs. And I live in the bitter cold, so I'm familiar with cold and how to deal with it. Now, that being said, there might be a time when something is like, oof, that's way cold, and we might say, you know, -40, let's just not. I mean, why? Let's just wait a week or two till it warms up. Yeah. If it's -40 where you live, let me know. But generally, for what most people experience weather-wise, it's not too cold for us to ship. Okay. Chat's kind of jumping around, so I'm missing a few things, but can viable eggs be introduced via plants? Yes, absolutely. New setup, 5 minutes later, there was a fish I didn't recognize. Absolutely, there's tons of fish that attach their eggs to plants. Killifish, rice fish, and many, many others. So that happens all the time, actually. Will you be getting cyanogaster CF nocitava? Wait, I said that wrong. Noctivaga soon. I don't have any plans to that I know of. Oh, wait, I think I have that fish. Don't I? Oh, that one might be different than the one I have. What do I have? I've got the hummingbird tetra. Oh, yeah, I've got Ornatus. That's a cool little looking fish, but I don't have any like direct plans to bring it in immediately or anything like that, no. But I like clear tetras. I think they're cool. I like glassfish and all that. Mr. B's CPDs. I've got some Pseudodanio goblinus for my LFS. They're the same. Are they the same as Pseudodanio axelrodi? I don't know. That's my first time hearing about Pseudodanio goblinus. Like little goblins? Goblinus? Let's see here. What is this? Looks like it to me, but the West Spot's calling them goblinus, and they generally know what they're talking about, so I'm guessing that's a new species. A new species to me. Yeah, that's my first time hearing of that. Cool little fish. That's a great looking little Pseudodanio. Congrats. Okay, so I've missed some super chats. Let me get to them. Kelly Foreman gifted 5 Dancefish memberships. Kelly, thank you so much. I really appreciate you doing that. Thanks, sister. Big Shrimpin, aka Steve C, gifted a Dancefish membership. Thanks. Like, that's one of the best ways someone can support the channel, by giving those memberships out. That's amazing. And Kayla's Aquatics and Reptiles throwing down Pippi Longstocking to put some pep in our step, along with a gift certificate, a super chat. Thank you, Bob. Hope you're doing fantastic, my friend. Cheers to you. Joshua Johnson, I had 6 red phantoms, and they were like little piranhas, super aggro. You sure they weren't Serpe tetras? Yeah, some of the tetras can be like that, but ember tetras, I've kept lots of ember tetras. And I've never experienced that. Let's see here. Christopher Chappels, I have 10 ember tetras, and they have never messed with anything. Let's see if someone else. Guppies and bettas are known to have delicious tails. Yes, yes. Chonsworth's mountain grunters are currently about 4 inches. I think we have one in there that's 4 inches. The rest are bigger than that. Leo 29 Aquatics cross river puffers are like water puppies. You need one. I do need one. I agree. I agree. I'm glad yours is acting like a water puppy, because that probably means it's doing well. Congratulations, Leo. I hope that whole journey to go pick them up and all that went well for you. I'd like to hear about that one day. FishWiz22. And to all that may have been affected, I'm truly sorry for the past, aka Rye Guy. Yeah. Do I know about this? Did someone pass away that was in the fish fam recently? Charnsworth, what fish do you have in with your grunters while they recover? Nothing. Until fish are ready to sail, we consider them in quarantine. So those grunters are by themselves, and they're big enough they might remain by themselves. Yeah. We have had a couple customers report that they've had grunters kill fish they were with, and we've had grunters kill, I mean, for a long time they never did, but then one day kill some rainbow fish. I guess they got big enough that they started seeing the rainbow fish as food. But they're big enough, we're probably going to keep those by themselves. What's the rarest fish you keep? Already got that one. We need more types of paradise fish. I know. Oh, you're telling me. There's so many color varieties in Asia, and they're almost impossible to find in the hobby here. Yeah, lots of color varieties and also lots of neat species. So I agree. I had a hookup, a gentleman out in Vietnam that I was working with to bring in some stuff, and I was hoping that could be like a long-term supplier of rare in the United States anyway, of neat varieties of paradise fish. But I emailed him a couple times. We did some business, and then I emailed him a couple times, and he never got back to me. So I'm thinking he doesn't want to do business anymore. So that's a bummer. Frank Trempy, how do you disinfect foam filter and other equipment in a quarantine hospital tank? I think to soak them in boiling water, but not sure it's a good idea. I mean, I like hydrogen peroxide. It's a lot easier. And when hydrogen peroxide is done reacting, the byproducts are oxygen and water, both non-toxic things that aren't bad for your aquarium. So personally, I like hydrogen peroxide a lot. Matt West, here is another vote for the adding in stock to the fish wish list idea. I really want a group of those ornate sand tiger loaches, but don't have a place for them. Got it. Yes, please, to the wish list of in-stock fish. Constantly add and delete and add to the cart. Okay. Okay. Jeremy F. Love the in-stock wish list idea. I also wanted to do that before so that I can get the email updates for the next time they're in. Okay. Sounding like this might be something that people want. Skipper Scotty saying, like, yeah, buy my fish. Yeah, those Limia Prouge are amazing. And we'll get the other ones listed soon, Skipper Scotty. Elysian AS. Do you have pics of Montezuma in the store? Is there a collection point? There is no there is a collection point. I lie. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but there is a collection point, and I don't have pictures of them, and they're small. They're not sexable at this time. I will be getting pictures of them, but literally they're small, juvenile, unsexed Montezuma. But healthy as horses. They're very healthy. Joshua Johnson, thank you, sir. Appreciate the explanation on the SAE. Yeah, you got it. Oh, yeah, the drawing's over, folks. Early birds got the worm today, so if you're hoping to enter the drawing, that's already been drawn. The $100 gift certificate has already been assigned to a lucky winner. So anyone that's just here for the drawing, thanks for being here, but you're going to be disappointed if that's all you're here for. Because we already done it. We already did it. Nabokov says to Robert, Dan is usually behind on the chat. Like, truer words have never been spoken. I'm not just behind. I'm always way behind. So I look at the chat as like jumping off points to discuss something. So I'm not concerned about being like in real time all the time. I would rather take a topic, take my time with it, answer it well, than try to like quickly just like, yeah, no, I don't know. yeah, that's a cool fish, and then move on. You know, I want to actually talk about stuff. So we don't get through it all, but when you do get a response, hopefully it's something more than, you know, what I just demonstrated. Will you be getting more yo-yo loaches in? You want to buy a group? We will. That's not a fish that flies off the shelf for us, but yeah, we'll get more of that fish in. I don't know how quickly. Javier Tiano, any word on when stir-by will be available? No, I have some. I don't know if they're ready to come out of quarantine yet or not. We've been looking at them and we're still like on the fence. The issue with, so when you have a fish and it takes longer than 2 weeks to get it ready to sell, that means that, well, it can mean a few things. It can mean like it's a new species, you want to get to know it better, like the Cyanodorsalis, make sure they're really okay in the fresh water. It can mean, well, these are big, like the grunters, and so shipping was probably not as fun for them, and so let's just give them a little extra time as a precaution. But it can also mean, you know, these are kind of skinny, we need to fatten them up, in which case we don't know how long it's going to take. That's up to the fish. Or it can be, something's not quite right with these. We need to try some medications and see if we can figure out what's going on. Maybe get the veterinarian on board and try to treat them, in which case we have no idea how long it'll be. So a lot of times it's up to the fish. We just don't know. Paul Soltero. Hey, Paul. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Steerbys, Agassizi, and Julia all thrive in with my discus at 84-degree water. Thank you, Paul, for letting us know. Oh, yeah. I did know steerbys can take warmer water. Yeah, I did know that. The best guppy you have in stock, asks John M. I like all the koi types. I think they're pretty cool. The full golds are amazing. The full gold guppies, they're right there. I look at them every day. I think that those are really nice. It's less about like what's the best one and which one do you like, because there's so many color varieties and patterns and stuff. Speaking of guppies, Jake, our content creator, has been working really hard on a guppy video. It's short. It's only about 4 minutes, but I think it's pretty good. And that's going to premiere at 8:30. So as soon as the stream's done, I'm going to go watch that. If you want to join me, I'd like to invite you to join me. And again, it's only like 4 minutes, so it's not going to, you know, prevent you from watching any other streams tonight that you want to watch. In fact, let me post a link to that. Hang on. Where's my channel? Think I would know that. Here it is. And here's the link to it. Or you can just, you know, go to the channel. It's there as well. Do we really only have 11 minutes left? Holy cow. So, John M., we have tons of nice gup. Oh, let's look. Let's shop together. I feel like I'm not giving you a good answer. If I could type guppy. Okay. So yeah, I like the kois. Okay, the charcoal blacks are amazing. We don't have a great picture, but we've been breeding these for a couple generations, and they're doing great. So I like the charcoal blacks. These are the full golds. They're fantastic. This is maybe my favorite. I just think these platinum Dumbo, red-tailed Dumbo ears are stunning. Okay, the white tuxedos looking really good as well. I do like the Berlins. See, here's the problem. Or the Viennas, not the Berlins, sorry. But that's the problem. I'm looking at all these and remembering how cool each one is as I look at them. Okay, if I was to buy a guppy, which one would I buy? Let's go with that. I'd go with the full golds. I just think they're fantastic. If I had to buy one right now, that's the one I would buy. Yep. Okay, Jacob Allen, my KH is 200 to 300 out of the tap, super high. My GH is 25 to 50. And pH is 7.6 to 8. Do you have any idea how to lower my GH? I struggle with ram cichlids. Wow, that's kind of funky water. So KH would be your calcium hardness and what's the other one? And the other one. And GH would be your general hardness. I don't understand how general hardness could be less than KH. Because wouldn't general hardness include KH plus everything else in the tank? Am I way off base here, folks? Am I remembering something wrong? It has been a long day. But rams, in my experience, do great in hard water. Our water here is 300 parts per million, just the calcium carbonate alone, not including all the other minerals in the water. And we keep rams, and they do fantastic. In my experience, the issue with rams is supply chain, just like with so many other fish. So I don't know what you're experiencing exactly, but my suspicion would be that it's probably not the water, or at least not the hardness. Nice, stable, clean water at 300 parts per million calcium carbonate hardness, which is super high, which is what I have, plus all the other minerals, is just fine for our rams. So this is a Quizler to me, because I don't even understand how the parameters can be that way. But ways to lower, if you want to lower hardness, you really go RO. There's a lot of ways to do it. You can mess with all kinds of resin pads, and you can mess with tannins and all that. But I think the way to do it is RO. Okay, I'm wondering if people are telling me that I've got my KH and GH backwards in my head. Yeah, KH would be calcium hardened and magnesium, right? Calcium and magnesium. GH would be everything else plus that, I thought. Yeah, so I don't understand. But basically you're saying I have hard water, how do I soften it? Yeah, I would definitely go with an RO system. Okay, scrolling down, because I had to scroll and got lost when I was trying to see if people were saying, Dan, you're so wrong. Christopher Junkin, I have a good West African supplier. They will bag and send the fish as you wish. I like these guys. That's hard to find. Christopher, if you don't mind sharing who that is, I would love to know. hello@dansfish.com. I've been looking for a good West African supplier for a long, long time. I do have someone in Nigeria that's decent, but even that has a lot to be desired. But once you get out of Nigeria, it's really difficult. And the issue with Nigeria is it's hard to make an import. There's not enough fish on the list that that I can order, 20, 30 boxes at a time. So yeah, if you've got someone you don't mind sharing, I've been looking. Cinnabuns. So then 20 long, considering cherry barbs, Paleotis. Yeah, I think you could totally add white clouds to that. Yeah. I mean, it depends on how you keep fish, but I don't think a 20 long would be difficult to keep in good shape with that stocking. Of course, I don't know how many cherry barbs, Paleotis, and trapdoor snails you're getting, but I think you could pull that off. Although my answer, if you're doing Paleotis cories, would be like, instead of getting white clouds, get more Paleotis cories. Like the bigger the group, you're going to see just amazing differences in those fish if they're in big groups. If you've ever kept cories in really large groups, you'll know what I'm talking about. You'll be like, oh, that's what they act like. Steel 97, what's the coldest temperature you'll ship in? I have yet to meet a temperature I won't ship in. Big Shrimpin, aka Steve C. What's the biggest German blue rams you've seen? Someone had 3 males at a club auction last week, and they were probably 6 inches or better. Could they be crossed with something? They were huge. Yeah, I think that's, I don't see how that could be. So I judged the fish show at the Keystone Clash a couple weeks ago, and there was a big, massive, mature blue German ram there. And if he was, maybe 3 inches, maybe a tiny bit bigger, but that's it. That's as big as I've seen him. If you're thinking 6 inches, I think maybe it's being confused with some kind of an Acara, like an electric blue Acara or something. But I've never seen a Ramirez eye, Microgeophagus Ramirez eye, get even close to 6 inches. Eddie's Aviary. Have you ever seen tiny fry hatch in a breeder box with nothing else but an Indian almond leaf? What could it be? I've never seen that, but either something's on the leaf and hitchhiked, or there's flow into that tank, breeder box, and something got sucked in and carried into the breeder box. But no, I've never seen that. I don't know what it could be, man. What else is it? Whatever fish are in the tank that the breeder box is in, it could be one of those. And now, there are a lot of fish that spawn in crevices. So if the bottom of that breeder box has crevices or kind of cross pattern or lined crevices in it, there's a lot of fish that will inject eggs into that. Okay, we've got 6 minutes and then we'll go to the guppy premiere. PJ Kazami? Dan, I noticed you're out of stock on albino pineapple high fin veil-tail swordtails. Yes, I have a large group of them. I got their parents from you, so good stock. Would you be interested? Absolutely. Yes, PJ. Anyone listening, I love buying fish from hobbyists. Anytime I don't have to put the fish through the stress of import, I want to do that. Yes, absolutely. And also, there's a lot of fish out there that are so expensive that the market won't bear their price. What I mean by that is, yeah, there's a couple people that are really excited about that fish and will buy it, but until it gets down to a price that the general market will support, that's always going to be a fish that's risky to bring in, because you never know if there's enough people that'll pay the price you have to sell it for to stay in business. So those definitely are in that category. So I'm always trying to buy from hobbyists so fish don't go through that stress, and also trying to make it so we can source fish at a sustainable market price. So yeah, if you want to reach out, PJ, hello@dansfish.com. That's HELLO @dansfish.com. Then I would definitely be interested. Okay, we've got just 2 minutes until Jake's guppy video that he's been working on so hard premieres. So here's a link to it. I'm going to shut the chat. I'm going to shut the live stream off now. I'll do the sign off and then I'll head right over there. It's only a 4-minute long video. So if you wouldn't mind watching a guppy video that Jake has worked really hard on, it's at the Dance Fish channel, premiering in, it says 60 seconds, so I better get over there. Okay, let me do my sign off. Thanks to the moderators, thanks to the Fish Member crew, thanks to everyone that left us super chats, really appreciate it. Thanks to everyone who participated in the chat. If you're lurking and didn't participate, that's cool too. Hail the Lurker Nation. If you're watching on the replay, hello from the past. And if you're listening on the podcast, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, bye-bye. That's a record fast outro. See you guys.